Hi, Steve from Cool Risk Guitar School, and today I'm going to be talking about FX loops. Now, how many of you have got an amplifier, not necessarily this one, and you've got a send and return on the back and you're like, I don't know what it does. I've paid my money, but I don't know what these sockets do. Well, these sockets, the send and return is basically your FX loop, and they come in different guises, but mostly they're pretty similar. I'm just going to be talking about the basics of FX loops on amplifiers today. Nothing confusing. What you'll see is you've got a send and return on the back of the amplifier, and you may have a little button that says +4 or -10. Now the +4 and -10 button, that's the +4 is for using professional rack mount gear, and it just adjusts the amount of signal that goes through, and the -10 is for effects pedals. So that's what that button is for. So if you're using effects pedals, press the -10. If it's not, you use your +4. So the send and return, what the send and return does is the amplifier actually can send a signal from its send, which is an out, into the input of, for example, a reverb or a delay pedal, and then the output of your delay pedal can go into the return of the amp. And what that does in turn is it pops your part of your signal from your delay or your reverb after the preamp on the amplifier or after the distortion, and it generally, in my opinion, but not everybody's, sounds a lot nicer. Okay, so that's why we have FX loops. You can get multiple effects processors that can utilize FX loops on amps as well. Looking at this one here, oh, it's a bit heavier. This is a Blackstar HT5, and on the back of here, this one's actually got the button for the +4 and the -10. But it's exactly the same, pretty much. Send and return, and you would use them with, as I said before, time-based effects. You could use modulation effects like choruses and flanges and things like that in an FX loop. See how you go with that. But distortions, normally, if you're using a distortion pedal, you can normally pop that into the input on your amplifier. But for time-based, let's pop them in the FX loop. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the basics of FX loops. Nothing too complicated, but a lot of people buy amps, they get a send and return on the back, and they don't know what it does. So they're really useful, and I've used them a lot in the past. Anyway, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And it's lovely to see people from all over the world passing lovely comments and subscribing and whatever. And I'll see you soon. And that's what FX Loops is about.